Hey, y'all, how are you today? Hope you've had a great one. It is starting to heat up, isn't it? Um, so this is about like the disturbing things that Dawn has said over the last year in regards to Summer's disappearance. And I haven't been on the YouTube today, but when I was booting up, I saw, I don't even remember what channel it was. It was just like in the news feed where, and it was a real short one. So I was listening to it, and he was like, well, what if Dawn and Candace are innocent, completely innocent? And, I've thought that. Well, of course, we've all thought that maybe they are, and maybe it's just too weird, too big, whatever. Um, but every time you think something like that, you get sucked back into like their behavior and things they've said and done, and that's where I'm at, because I've been uh, trying to find these clips and clip them, and so that I could share them with you. There was one I couldn't find. That was the one where he's like, he always knew something would happen to her. That early on was shocking. I was like, why would you ever say, I just knew it. I just knew something was going to happen to my daughter. I told Candace, watch her, guys. I always knew her whole life that something was going to happen to her. That is like the craziest thing I had ever heard. I was like, why would anyone think that? That's not normal at all. But, I didn't start my channel until like November or something like that. So I had to go back and find all this stuff. But so most of this is about Dawn and his vocabulary during this whole thing. There's a little bit about Candace, but not a whole lot. Um, I think we can all agree that she hasn't shown a lot of emotions towards, well, any of her kids, because when she did the Chris Madonna video, that was just like what, a couple days after she lost the boys. And I don't know. I think I would be too distraught to even have that interview, much less, um, carry on the way she did, uh, without emotion. But that's me. But as far as Candace goes, and I'll just throw hers all out there first, I guess. Things that bother me, well, there's a whole lot more than this, but just keeping it on the short side. The most recent thing is her throwing the phones in the lake. Um, that's not something you would do unless you thought you needed to hide something, in my opinion. That's just the way I think. I mean, I've never once thrown a phone into the lake. If I got a new phone or whatever, if I wasn't going to keep it for a backup or something, I would break it and throw it in the trash, just because you have bank information and stuff like that on it. But this wasn't even her phone. Well, she did throw her phone in too, but she threw Dawn's phone in, which is troubling. And I wonder if Tim Mullins has done the right thing and turned the information in. Whether it's anything or not, he should do that. But I think the federal government will have to knock on his door and say, "Hey, Tim, we know you have this information," if he hasn't already tried to get rid of it. I don't know. I'm not techie enough to be able to do something like that, but I think he is. Um, anyways, so um, another thing that's bothered me about Candace is that initially they didn't want the parents to search, because what if they walked up on something, or something like that. But the fact that she hasn't gone out looking when she physically could go out looking, according to the police department, as long as she had permission from the landowners. She has every right to go out and look for her daughter. And I mean, maybe she has and we haven't seen it, but I mean, I haven't seen anything like that. So that bothers me. And right after she lost the boys, she's on the dating sites trying to meet up with someone and kind of move on. It looked like to me. And, you know, back in December, she gave away all of Summer's clothes and toys. And that threw me for a loop as a mother, because anything that my daughter touched or played with or thought was special, there is no way that I would get rid of any of it. I just wouldn't. I mean, as a matter of fact, it'd probably be, you know, her bedroom would, well, not her bedroom, but like a normal bedroom, you would want to keep everything just like it was for when they come home, right? I mean, that's in my mind. But even her behavior hasn't been normal. Even people that have gone to the house to help them, they haven't seen a lot of emotion from them. And that's troubling, you know, as a mother and a grandmother. Um, it's troubling. But okay, so let's get into this, because this is more about, because, oh, and trigger warning, because after going back and listening to these things, it made me sick feeling that anybody could say these things. So we'll go ahead and start back, kind of, you know, from the first interview that her and Dawn had done with WJHL. And this is just like, I'm only going to use like a minute and 23 seconds. So this is first we'll be speaking is Candace. So let me mute my computer.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
We decided to shave her head off and let it grow back long, and she shaved her head so she wouldn't feel bad, and but it didn't bother her at this point.
Okay, that was like one of a bizarro time. She's like, oh, right out of the same section, they're both telling opposite stories. I mean, we should have known early on that this was going to be a crap show, just from the very beginning. So Candace says, I shaved my head, and so she wanted her hair shaved so that she could be like me and the boys. Then Dawn, out of the right after that, says, oh, well, she tried to shave her head, so her mom shaved her head so that Summer wouldn't feel bad. What? I mean, really? That reporter should have pounced on that and said, well, you said this and you said that, so which is true? You know, but the last comment that Dawn made really bugs me, because he said, but it didn't bother her at this point. You know, like it almost sounded like to me that it did bother her, because remember, she was like wanted to be a little princess and all of that, and then they shave her head, and he go, oh well, it didn't bother her at that point. What? Oh Lord. Okay, so let's move on to this one. Let me mute out.
She was a tomboy. I shaved my head. She wanted to have her head shaved like me and the boys did.
She's an awesome young lady, and we just want her back. We hardly know many of our neighbors. I mean,
that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
Any woman that was professional, that
pretty,
yeah,
beautiful.
She looked up to those kind of women. My biggest fear is, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her, unfortunately, her downfall. And I'm so afraid that she's locked away, or that she could possibly, I don't want to think she's dead, but it's a possibility. I don't want to address all the negativity. I just want to focus on the positive, because
find her daughter.
I know that was loaded. So they don't know their neighbors, which we know is not true. And the comment that Candace made, no one would ever treat her like that as long as she was around. Well, what way is it she's talking about? I wish that we could have the reporter's questions, because that's kind of an alarming comment to me. It's like, what is she talking about? How is she being treated if you're not around? It's making me ask myself, and then of course he's afraid she's being tormented and locked in a dungeon. That's very disturbing. Very, I don't know why your mind would go there just that quick or that early into an investigation. And then he says, well, I don't want to think about it, but she might be dead. And now that the look that Candace gave him was a look. Now, I don't know what was going through her mind, but definitely a little shock, I think, there. And what was the last thing I was wanting to mention? Oh, shoot. It may come back to me. Oh, came back to me. So he says, but, I don't want to focus on the negativity. I want to focus on the positive. What? How can you say, I don't want to think about it, but I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive. At this point, there's nothing positive going on here. Nothing. Summer is gone. She's disappeared, right? Nothing positive. So that is just such an odd statement. Oh, these people. These recordings do get worse. So just a trigger warning again, please. If it bothers you, just please, just don't even listen to it. All right, we're going to go on to the News Nation interview where the guy was talking to Dawn and asking some questions about Candace.
Happened this summer that Candace knows about that's not her fault, but she happened this summer that Candace knows about that's not her fault, but she is just nervous now and feeling bad about it.
Well, no.
Could she have gotten herself into a situation where it wasn't her fault, but
no.
You know what I mean?
No. She's a good mother. She loves her children. She's not going to allow any situation like that. The biggest mistake she might have made is maybe she was in some wrong friends, which is, it happens.
Okay, so two things here. One, when he was saying that she's a good mother, do you notice he closes his eyes completely when he says it. That makes me think that he's not being 100% truthful on that, but that's just my opinion. And then, of course, the famous words that she made wrong friends, right? So, yeah, I think she probably has. I personally, in my opinion, believe that she's been involved in some questionable stuff, just like I think the same thing about Dawn. For example, him taking out $2,000 out of his account and going to Knoxville and going on a binge and having prostitutes allegedly, when that money could have been used to search for his daughter. So, yeah. So, okay. I don't even remember what this one is. Let's see. Okay, all right. This trigger warning, because this is Dawn talking about Summer sleeping with him. All right, hang tight.
Slept in between me and Candace for 5 years straight. Because I tried to get her sleep in her own bed, and she come to me one night. I said, Summer, you have to sleep in your own bed. She went in there and laid down, and she come back. She was with tears in her eyes. She says, but Daddy, I just want to be with you. And I said, okay, Summer, I couldn't tell her no. How do you tell your little girl no when she wants to sleep with you? I can't. When your little girl and your boys, they go out and they play all day, and then they get mixed up with candy. You bring them candy on. They got the shit all over their face and in their hair. Well, I have to take a shower every night because I work in drywall. I'm like, fuck, get your little punk asses in here. And we'd all rinse off together real quick. Mom would be waiting there with the towel. I'd throw them out one at a time. And Mom would dry them off and dress them. So, I don't want my little girl with freaking candy all over her sleeping next to me. And plus, she ain't gonna sleep good unless she's clean. I did it out of love.
Very disturbing. So, for one, I get kids want to, sleep with their parents from time to time. Maybe they have a bad dream or whatever. But sleeping right in between your mom and your dad for your entire life I don't think that's normal. That's just my opinion. And the way that he talked to his kids, get your little punk into the shower. Who says that? And, Candace completely denied even knowing that Dawn showered with the kids, allegedly, right? Even though True has come out to say it. Jose says he saw it. Jody Sue says she saw it. But Candace didn't know, right? Allegedly. I don't think with that room not even having a wall, I don't know how she could not know. And that's highly inappropriate for a little, well, even the boys. I mean, good grief. The oldest was 13. What's he doing in the shower with his dad? Any of them, right? But he says, he'd hand them out one at a time to Candace. So, but of course, we can't believe everything we hear from either one of them either. So, but the fact that there are 3 other people who have claimed that they saw that happen is disturbing. I mean, you think about a little 5-year-old girl, how tall she is compared to her dad, and no little girl should be in the shower with her father anyway. I mean, at all, in my opinion. It's completely inappropriate. So, continued trigger warnings, okay? I'm trying to go through this quick because I think my computer's gonna die and I dropped it and I broke it today. So I don't know how well it's going to do. So, and I apologize for that. Okay. So, all right. This next one has, I think it's got 4. Goodness, I may have to just jot a note down just because so that I can make my points. But the first one is when Candace donated all of Summer's clothes and toys, and Robin is at the church talking about the toys and having all the kids clean it up. So, and she says something towards the end that's the point I want to make. But listen, I want to give you a trigger warning, because the next 3 little clips that I have after the Robin one, I can't stop it in between the way that I did this. I wished I had done it different, but I didn't. So I'll have to play it in its entirety, okay? Or we'll have to stop it and then restart it, and you have to listen to the same part again. So I don't want to put you through that. So this is a total of 4 minutes and 23 seconds. And like I said, it's 4 separate clips that I have on here. And my apologies again.
The story today. I can't help but be a little sad that Summer is not here today to help. Here she was just last year, dressed as a cute little shepherd. We are hoping and praying that she would be found before Christmas. And here is Christmas Day, still no Summer. But we are not giving up. Prayers are still being lifted that she will be found safe. Thank you, everyone who helped clean her toys. Most of them were Paw Patrol toys. The kids loved cleaning them too. Some were pretty dusty and dirty, as Paw Patrol toys should be. From all their search and rescue missions, I'm sure Summer played out every episode she ever saw. Special attention was given to this little toy, who is the character Ryder. He is the young boy who leads the team. His right eye was partially covered in dirt. While cleaning Ryder's eyes, I prayed that the search teams would have their eyes open to where Summer is. It's been 193 days. Let the little girl who loved to play search and rescue missions be found safe and brought back home.
Understand this, my daughter's probably on the fucking streets right now somewhere. And nobody's listening to me.
Johnny, we can't do anything.
I know where she's at. She's in a fucking motel room somewhere with some fucking weirdo. Fucking some motherfucker trying to sell her a little bit of crack cocaine.
David Johnson's been over a couple times.
Does Dave ever babysit or anything?
No, nothing like that.
No.
Well, we let him take the boys to the golf course when all this first happened.
Yeah.
Just to try to help us out and stuff.
How long have you known him?
Well, he come from another church, and he just kind of popped in and got to know Summer a little bit before she got gone, and. But then he met some girl at some Baptist church and started going, I guess, to church with them.
So he would come over and hang out with her and play with her and stuff?
Well, no, not until after she disappeared.
Oh, so she didn't know him very well before that?
Well, she met him a few times. Summer did. And I have to leave it to God, and I know what prison's like. And I have mercy for anybody who's in prison, because you're lucky if you get out of there alive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So would you want to see this person in prison?
I don't know if I could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No,
it just depends on all the circumstances,
What if it was an accident?
Well, that's different, and accidents happen, Or even 90% of the time is because they're predators. So it's just not good. Somebody has hurt her, probably sexually, maybe beat the fuck out of her, probably killed her. Let's be realistic. This ain't gonna be good. And because of all the pressure and YouTube and the TV shows and everything else, they probably wanted to get rid of the evidence, and they probably killed her. I mean, let's be realistic. information that you have. And again, I think one or two people know exactly what has happened to her, and they need to come forward.
Okay, I know that was completely loaded. So to start off with the church, and at the end of when Robin was talking, she says, and hopes that they find the little girl that loved to play search and rescue missions. Well, to be honest with you, the first thing that ran through my mind was the church's hide and seek program thing. That was such a weird thing to say. It's probably absolutely nothing. I mean, I do believe that she was like praying for for their eyes to be open and find her, but I don't know. It's probably nothing. But that's just the first thing that came to my mind, and that's what I wanted to point out. Now, then he's like, well, I know where she is. She's on the streets in a motel with some weirdo. Well, I cringe at the thought of something like that. And for him to say that was hard to listen to. And then there was the behavior panel asking Dawn, and they seemed to have some questions about Dotson, didn't he? Or David Dotson. And he says, oh, well, did he ever come over and play with Summer? And he said, not until after Summer disappeared. Now, that could have been just a slip of the tongue or whatever. What do you think? Not until after she disappeared. So that was so strange. I caught that and I was like, what? After she disappeared is when he came over to play with her? That was just a weird comment. And it could have been just, he's not the most eloquent speaker either, elegant speaker. So it could just be a slip of the tongue, but it was weird. Then, Dotson's back on my interest list again, because a couple, I don't know, it was last week or something, a couple people said that he dated Michael Vaughn's grandmother. And I've been trying to find out. I've reached out to him. He hasn't answered me yet because he says, if you want to ask me something, ask me directly and don't just, speculate. So that's what I'm trying to do. And if he answers me, I'm definitely going to ask some questions. Definitely. But the fact now, why would see that makes me uneasy if he did date Michael's grandmother, because, and then here's this guy, he pops into this church, right? And he's not there very long, but that's who Candace calls, and didn't really know him, only met him a couple times, according to Dawn, or talked to him a couple of times. So the fact that it's odd, there's something off about that whole thing. And then Dawn goes on to say, which we all never understood, because if somebody took one of our children or grandchildren, if they said, if we were asked, what would you want to be done to this person, we would like, man, don't even call the law, let me handle it. That's how it should be. But he doesn't even want this person to go to jail, because he's been there and he knows how bad it is. And he has had some bad experiences in there. But if somebody took my daughter, I would want him under the jail, him or her under the jail forever, never to get out. So that was always a very strange comment. I know that y'all agree with me on that. And then I forgot that this was in there, but Dave Rader from EquiSearch made that little comment. He said, that he believes there's a couple people that know exactly what happened to Summer or where she is, and that they need to come forward. And I agree. I think there are people out there that know exactly what happened to Summer. And I do hope they come forward for her, for her. You know, and then the the phone call with Ernie Shell, and he's like, "Oh, we know it's a predator. They probably assaulted her, beat the f out of her, and killed her. Come on, let's be realistic." That is about the most cold-hearted thing I have ever heard a parent say about their child, without like falling to pieces. No person in their right mind that has a missing child would be able to even think these things, much less say them, in my opinion. Disturbing. It angers me too, because I mean, we all care about where this little baby is so much, and all we want is for her to be found. And he's saying this vulgar stuff about this child that we've all grown to love and care about and think about and pray about every day. So that bothers me. All right. Like I said, I'm trying to move pretty quick, and I apologize for that. But let's see, which one is it that I need? Okay, so let's go ahead and play this. I played this the other day, but you can't make this up.
Rode you for this? Do you think that that's what's going to happen?
You can't do that with no evidence. That's impossible, bro. How can you do that? You
Well, I
gotta
don't
have
know.
evidence.
I don't know what evidence they have. I don't know.
They don't have no evidence, and there's no way they could ever have evidence because it's impossible.
How can you be so sure? That's my thing. And then I think about Candace telling Cam, and I've told this story a bunch, but Cam was FaceTiming, Cam and Allie were FaceTiming with Candace. And he's like, hey, you know, they were going out searching for Summer, like many of us would do if we could, right? He's on the phone with her, and he's like, hey, do you know where this bridge is? Because, you know, we're going to go look over there. And she's like, I don't care. It don't matter. I don't know. I don't care. You ain't going to find her anyway. And left Cam and Allie speechless, because here they are going out to look for her daughter. And she doesn't care, doesn't know where it is, and you're never going to find her. That's so matter of fact, like Dawn just saying, there's no evidence, can't be, never, there is none, no way possible. See, that kind of stuff is what makes most of us out here a little leery of them. But then you got Jody Sue saying stuff, and you got these other ones saying stuff. It's troubling. It really is. Oh, shoot. Where is it? Hold on. I'm going to have to share my screen with you, because this is something else that is it this one? Did I just play this one? Yes, I did. Okay, let me mute and see if I can find that real quick. Oh my gosh, I did not upload it to my computer. Great. Let me see. Doggone it. because it was when he was, oh, here it is. Okay. I'm just going to play the audio because I apologize. I did not upload it to my computer, but this is when he was taking the reporter down the dog trail. Okay. We all remember that. Well, he gives a very vivid description of Summer being abducted. That doesn't sit right with me. All right, here we go.
I guess you guys want to walk around through there.
The trail was not an easy walk. To get down the rugged hill, Wells and I had to hold on to trees. I struggled not to trip or even fall on tree roots.
I need some slack a little bit.
So the dog kind of came down this trail here.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah. I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here until the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Well, says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer since down the trail to the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere because a neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think I just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Okay, well, that's not a normal thing to be able to be so descriptive of. And you recall, I mean, who could say that? All of these comments bother me on such a deep level. I mean, it really makes me wonder what this poor child has been through in her life, in my opinion. All right, let's play this.
Where do you think she is?
Well, at first I thought, it's got to be some sicko hillbilly druggie, drug her out in the woods or something, or somebody put her in her car and took her not too far away or whatever like that. But I'm starting to wonder if it isn't some high-end thing. Maybe somebody's seen her on Facebook, because my wife was always posting stuff on Facebook.
Okay, that's troubling. He used to think it was a hillbilly, somebody that just took her down the road, but now he's thinking it's a high-end thing. A high-end thing. Where is he coming up with this stuff, right? It's troubling. It really is. All right, we're going to wrap it up pretty quick. Let me play two more things for you.
I still have, I remember many times throughout my life, girls hitting on me. I've been to places in California where I've been to some places where there were little kids, where people were trying to sell these little kids.
Oh, wow.
I've seen a lot of shit that I just.
Now, that was recently. Now, how disturbing is that? Now, I think two things. One, if you were in a place like that and you saw something like that, wouldn't you go immediately to the police and say, you got to get over here, bring a SWAT team? And then the other thing I think is, in order to, I'm guessing, I don't know, I'm not involved in this kind of stuff. But if, let's say he goes to a place like that, I don't think that they would just let anyone in, right? I mean, you would have to have some kind of established trust with these people. I would think, I'm guessing. So if that was true and he had some established trust with these people, then is this something he's around more often than he's talking about? It's troubling. And just the fact that he's been around stuff like that, and I didn't upload the video of him talking about running drugs from Mexico. And he told Chris Madonna, he's like, well, let me put it this way. I tried to run drugs. An addict, it's not like, how did he put it? Something like, it's hard for an addict, an active addict, to run drugs. So he probably could have used some money, maybe owed some money. I don't know how long ago that was. I mean, we talked. He's told two people. He told Sissy Prayer Garden that he owed 30,000. He said in text to Cher that he owed 50,000. So did he owe money? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but it wouldn't be so far-fetched for me to think. Now, I am going to end this right now with, and I couldn't say it any better. The lab was on Chris Madonna's when that phone call happened, and he just said it perfectly. So I'm going to end it with that.
Now, what he said there was he's seen it. So, did he see transactions?
Was he a customer?
Was he a customer? That's a great point.
Was he a seller? I mean, the rumor about him trying to sell his son, seems to be more and more like there is some solid ground to stand on here. I've said it once, I'll say it again. This is degenerate drug addict behavior. It's not just drug addict behavior, because there are many drug addicts in the world who actually care about their children. They may not do the best by them, but they're not trying to sell their children or going to dens where people are doing that kind of thing. He hangs around those people. Why?
Exactly. Why? Why would you be in that kind of an area or that kind of a situation? I would be flipping out if I saw something like that. I would be on the phone with the FBI, whoever, 911. I would be having a team of people come in and raid that place. I would have put a stop to that first thing. So it's troubling. And with Summer being gone, missing, it's troubling. So I'm going to leave it here. Just want to tell y'all how much I appreciate y'all being a part of this channel. I don't make money off of it or anything like that, but I love being able to talk with y'all and get your input and all your insight, because y'all sure do make me think too. So have a great evening. I appreciate you all. Talk to you soon.